Welcome to the third video of the physics lecture series for the National Science and Mathematics Olympiad. In this video, we will talk about fluids and their properties. Fluids can simply be defined as any substance that flows. More intuitively, you can think about them as any substance that can change shape when even a small force is applied. Think about it. If I apply a very small force to my desk, nothing will happen. If I apply the same force to water in a glass or the air around me, those will surely move. Fluids can be divided into liquids and gases. We will talk about the differences between their properties, but let's first motivate the study of fluids a bit. You can read about the story of Archimedes in your booklet, but let's quickly summarize it. The king suspected that the craftsman making his crown had stolen part of the gold and replaced it with silver. However, he had no way to prove his suspicion. He asked Archimedes for help. He thought about the problem so deeply that this was on his mind even when he went to the bath. When he entered the water, he observed that the more he submerged himself, the more the water level rose. There, he had the solution for the king's problem. According to the legend, he became so excited that he jumped up and ran home naked, crying aloud about the success. We will soon learn about the exact way they solved the king's problem, but for now, the most important thing is that Archimedes realized that fluids follow predictable laws. They behave in consistent ways, and if you understand those behaviors, you can solve problems not just in physics competitions, but also in the real world. There are three important states of matter that you have to know. There are solids, liquids, and gases. As I mentioned, liquids and gases are together called fluids. Taking a look at the molecular structure of solids, you can see that the molecules are tightly packed, so it would be hard for any of them to move. This is why solids are, well, solid, and it takes considerable force to change their shapes. In contrast, the molecules in a liquid can move around somewhat. They are packed densely, but not in an ordered structure like in solids, so the particles are free to move. Gases also have a disordered structure, and their molecules are packed less tightly than in liquids, so the molecules can move around even more easily. Liquids don't have a predefined shape, but they take the shape of any container you pour them into. This is similar for gases. They fill any container you put them into. There is an important difference, though, which is about how hard it is to compress these fluids. If you take a closed bottle of water and try to squeeze it, you will notice that you can barely compress it even with a considerable force. This is because the molecules are already densely packed. Compare that to gases. It is really easy to compress those. For example, you can simply use a handheld pump to compress more and more air into your bicycle wheel. Fluids are not just water and air, but there are a lot of interesting, strange kinds of fluids as well. For example, toothpaste is also a fluid. The lava flowing out of volcanoes is also a fluid, but when it cools down, it becomes solid. And there are some fluids with peculiar features, such as quicksand and some other so-called non-Newtonian fluids that behave very differently under different amounts of force. Fluids have some interesting properties that we will discuss soon. But in the meantime, here are some questions for you to think about. How can a steel ship float? Why does a hot air balloon rise? And why are you lighter in water than outside of it? To answer these, we need density, pressure, and Archimedes' principle, coming in the next videos. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next video.